Hey guys, what's up? JOZ back here again with another Vikings video, and the draft is over, so you come to the right place to talk about it. So let's get into it, starting with the pride and joy, the future of the Vikings, starting with round 2, pick 9, the Vikings' future running back, Dalvin Cook, the running back from Florida State. He has a grade of 6.2. The pick analysis on him is Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer did their homework and vetted all these running backs. Dalvin Cook is a first-round talent who slipped into the second round solely because of off-field issues. When you put on his tape, he's special. He'll make a difference in Minnesota. That's what Mike Mayock said about Dalvin Cook. And if you want more information on Dalvin Cook, I have a video in the comment section down below with some highlights into it. So if you want to see more of what he brings to the table, make sure to check that out. So I think where he will be on the Vikings next year, you're looking at about a 20 to 40% maximum split between him and Murray from the beginning of the year. Murray is going to be the starting running back next year, and I know it's going to be a lot of keyboard warriors on social media calling Dalvin Cook a bust because he's not starting and doing 30 carries a game, because those people are really smart. So don't be surprised if he doesn't get used a whole lot next year, but I think he'll be at least a 50% snap the following year. But I still think you're looking at a guy that'll probably get about 400 yards this year and a couple touchdowns. So a really solid pickup there. Round 3, pick 6, 70th overall, center Pat Elflein from Ohio State. He had a grade of 5.8. Pick analysis: one of the most technically advanced offensive linemen in the draft. He's not the best athlete in the world, but he's technically proficient. He's one of those guys that will play 10 years in the NFL, and I love the fact that he can play center and both guards. Really solid pickup by the Vikings. Of course, another Mike Mayock quote. So, a guy with some versatility on the interior line. We don't have enough of that. From what I can see, almost just a better version of Joe Berger, and I think that's a fantastic pickup for the Vikings. A guy that will come in and start right away. What will the Vikings do with them? I think we'll probably see who's a better guard between him and Joe Berger. They're both mostly centers, but they can both play guard as well. So I'm guessing as Elflein go to center and Berger to right guard, and now our line is really set. So I love the pickup there. First 2 picks, fantastic. Round 4, pick 2 overall, 109 from the 49ers, Jaleel Johnson, defensive tackle from Iowa. This got a grade of 5.6. The pick analysis, nice and short. Vikings draft some insurance for Sharif Floyd. Johnson brings some versatility to the Vikings D-line, but he's a run stuffer first with some penetration ability on pass downs. So I see Jaleel Johnson as Linval Joseph's backup. That's what he's going to be for us. He's 6'3", 316 pounds, so I think he'll be a really solid nose tackle. Backup nose tackle. We already have Linval Joseph, who's debatably the best 4'3" nose tackle in the game. So having a good backup for him to keep him fresh, another good pick. When I was looking at this, according to the top players available on the NFL thing, they didn't have this guy very high on there, so maybe a little bit of a reach. But if Spielman and our scouts did their homework and he was better than some of those other people, I really like the pick. So more backup on the D-line, especially when Sharif Floyd's future is up in the air. We don't know how proficient Dayton Jones will be at defensive tackle, but pick 4, another solid pick. Round 4, maybe the biggest reach of the draft, but it'll be wait to see. So it's Ben Gaden, inside linebacker from Michigan, 6'2", 244 pounds. Pick analysis: Sheridan is a depth addition to the linebacker crew that needed it. He'll start out on special teams, covered units, but he has the opportunity to work himself into the rotation as an early next season. So from Ben, I see it. He reminds me a lot of Kentrell Brothers, the guy we drafted last year, I believe in the 6th round. Another guy that will compete for that middle linebacker position next year, because I'll really see on early downs Eric Kendricks will be an outside linebacker, and then when we go in nickel and dime situations, Kendricks will move inside. So this guy will probably be competing with Contrell Brothers for that third linebacker position. Otherwise, he'll probably be a good special teams unit, and I like the pickup. He led Michigan in tackles, and so he can get it done. He plays with a high motor, so another good pick. Round 5, pick 27, Rodney Adams, wide receiver, 6'1", 189 pounds from South Florida, a grade of 5.4. Pick analysis: Adams adds speed to the receiver unit that struggles to stretch the field when Stephon Diggs was hurt. The 28th ranked offense needs all the weapons it can get, and boy is he right on that. So Rodney Adams, he's a speedy receiver that doesn't run routes all that well and maybe needs some help at to find things for a wide receiver. What does it sound a lot like? Well, the guy that just left to Carolina, Cordarrelle Patterson. So this is exactly what this guy's for. Rodney Adams is just a straight up replacement for Patterson. And the fact that we drafted not one but 2 wide receivers does not look very good for Mobo, a fan favorite. Will probably be cut this upcoming season, but you guys can cross your fingers that he takes a big leap forward and becomes a star, or at least a proficient backup. Next, we have the round 5, pick 37, compensatory selection from the Chief, Danny Isidora, guard, 306 pounds from Miami, a grade of 5.3. Pick analysis: the Vikings fielded arguably the worst offensive line unit in the NFL last season. Isidora should at least provide some competition in the camp entering the season. That's exactly what he is. A lot of these late round picks will just be backup players, but we need all the depth, especially interior depth, that we can get. So another solid pick. This one, maybe the best steal of the draft for us, probably the 3rd best player in my opinion that we got, and that is in round 6, pick 17, 201st overall from the Redskins, Bucky Hodges, the tight end from Virginia Tech. 6'6", 257 pounds, a grade of 5.7. That grade is the best grade since our 2nd round pick, Pat Efline. So very, very solid there. Pick analysis: Hodges can be a red zone matchup weapon for an offense that struggles putting the ball up next year. So from what I heard about Hodges is that he's a tight end mostly by position, and that is all. He didn't line up on the line a whole lot in Virginia Tech. He's pretty much just a oversized wide receiver, so they tag that tight end label on him, kind of like a Jimmy Graham type style, get it type guy. His blocking isn't very good at all, but he's extremely athletic. I believe he set a record in the combine for vertical for tight ends. Extremely good. He's got a great mix of speed, size, and weight, so he'll be a giant weapon for the Vikings. It'll be interesting to see how they use him. I like to use him like the way the Lions use their big, like 6'6" tight end that they got a few years ago, where they just line him up and do fades in the end zone. He was fantastic at that. That's what I could see from him very early on. I would not be surprised if he caught 5 touchdowns this year. A very, very good pick in the 6th round, and he'll probably be the number 3 tight end because we like more blocking. But in those red zone situations, I could really see him lining up wide to where some of our smaller receivers would struggle. He would shine. So that's Hodges. Moving on to all of our 7th round picks, and there are 4 or 5 of them. Starting with the first one, we have the first 2 picks of the 7th round. In the first one, overall 219, is Stacy Coley, another wide receiver. He's a 6', 195 pound receiver from Miami, a grade of 5.3. Pick analysis: Coley's another field stretcher for the Vikings offense. The talent is there to earn in a rotation role, but he'll need to show the coaches that he wants to compete early on if he's going to be sticking around. So from what I get from him is that sometimes it's like he doesn't want to be out there, kind of like a diva, kind of like Randy Moss. So hopefully it's not bad. When you're a 7th round pick, you shouldn't be that cocky. So as long as the coaches, or as long as maybe people just read him wrong, and maybe he actually does really have a passion for the game, so maybe he can still contribute, but that's still kind of a red flag. but maybe he slid down solely because of that, and he's got a lot more talent to offer than the round 7 label would say. So really up in the air a lot of these late round picks will be. Round 7 pick 2. Alright, stand clear for this one. If Adewale Ojomo is the defensive lineman the Vikings drafted in round 2, 220 overall, 6'3", 258 pounds, a 5.4 grade, which is solid. Pick analysis. He is a depth addition for the defensive line unit with plenty of questions relating to the future or current members. So another good depth guy, and we'll see if he sticks around for makes the main roster. Next, round 7, pick 14, 232nd overall, Elijah Lee, linebacker, 6'3", 228 pounds from Kansas State, 5.4 grade on him. Pick analysis. Lee will get camp looks as a special team contributor, but the Vikings could really use his speed and overall athleticism at the second level of their defense. So from what I can tell, he's got good speed and he has the ability to make plays. He'll probably just be a kickoff type guy. He will be a lot like Edmund Robinson, another late round linebacker the Vikings got a couple years ago. He has got good speed just like him, but we'll see most of his time on special teams and not much on the actual defense, but a good defensive substitute nevertheless. Our last pick, round 7, 27th overall, 27th in the 7th round, 245th overall, from the Chiefs, Jack Poco, cornerback, 6 foot, 202 pounds from North Carolina State. 5 grade, our lowest grade of the whole night, which makes sense. He was our last pick. Pick analysis: Vikings need some depth at safety, and coaches may see Poco as a potential covert to that position. So that says it right there. He's a guy that can play all the defensive back positions. So a guy that will maybe push a guy like Sherrills to maybe not make the team. It's going to be interesting to see if Sherrills has enough special teams need to warrant another spot on the roster. Maybe a guy like Rodney Adams can show he's a good enough punt returner, kick returner that we can kick Sherrills off the team. I'm not really in that boat because I think Sherrills brings a whole lot as a punt returner, and it's scary when he was hurt last year and we lost a game against Dallas when we had Thielen back there and he fumbled the punt return. So I think Sherrills will still make the team, but if Poco is good enough to be a backup cornerback, we need the depth we can be, and if he can be a number 4 or 5 guy, I think that's solid for our last pick of the draft. So there we have it. There was the Vikings draft. Where would you rank this overall? Where I see it, we got at least 2 starters for probably a really long time and a lot of good depth behind them. So I would give it a B+. Not anything spectacular after you get past Dalvin Cook and Pat Efline, but those 2 are really, really solid. It's hard to say right off the bat. So I'm between a B+ and an A-. No swings and misses. The only one where it's kind of a stretch from the naked eye is our 4th round pick, Bennie Sheridan. I'm not sure if we could have waited a little bit longer on him because I didn't see him very high in the list. Those both 4th round picks may have been a bit of a reach, but nevertheless, I think it's a solid draft. So I want you guys to get your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys in the next JLZ Vikings video. See ya.